Hi y'all, I'm Aubrey Shaw and I'm coming to you with our most recent Austin real estate statistics. We're taking a look in this video back at how we ended up for 2025 and what we see going forward for 2026. So let's get into it. 2025, it did feel like on the ground a market of kind of tug of war. Sellers still holding on to those peak values of 2022, buyers struggling with higher interest rates and higher prices. It really felt on the ground like a tug of war. Here's what the statistics had to say about 2025. Our inventory of homes reached 6 months of inventory at the peak spring market. Now, a lot of that inventory fell off as it seasonally does. As we get into the winter months, less sales are happening. A lot of sellers take their homes off the market. We ended up at 4.2 months of inventory at the end of December. So this was a year of higher inventory, which puts pressure on sellers to be competitive with their pricing if they want to sell. This was also a year of the largest number of expired or withdrawn listings. Those are listings that did not sell, even though they gave it an effort. It was a very high number of expired and withdrawn listings. We haven't seen that number since 2026. So, a lot of properties actually didn't end up selling. Home sale prices were pretty much flatlined through 2025. There were a few seasonal changes. Even in December 2025, we saw a big uptick of properties going under contract. That was after a big dip of them not going under contract October and November. The end of the year, though, it really ended up very even pricing. This is good. I mean, it shows a stable market. It shows pricing stability. And we ended the year with our median home sales price being 3% lower than 2024, which has happened for the past 3 years. We have lost around 3% of our equity in homes for the last 3 years as we kind of readjust into this normal market, not hiked up. That big hike in 2020 through mid 2022 was all about interest rates being extremely low. We're talking 2% range. And the pandemic and lowering of supplies that were needed for homes to be built, it was really kind of a perfect storm for that to happen. We do not think that that will be happening again anytime soon because it hadn't happened before that anytime soon, right? Actually, that was historical. We've never seen anything like that before. Now, even though resale homes saw a dip in their appreciation, they also saw that the volume of sales, the dollar volume of sales for 2025 reduced 4%. The number of sales was 8% less than 2024. Volume is dollar amount, number of sales is number of sales. When the volume amount decreases less than the median, it means that higher priced homes actually moved. Now, in the higher price home market, these are people that typically have more cash to put down. They're not lending as much, or maybe they're doing even an all cash purchase. So those interest rates don't affect them as much as our home buyers in the $500,000 range and below, which is the majority of our sales, by the way. That is the bulk of our sales are $500,000 and below. So that's the reason for the disparity of number of sales and volume of sales. A little bit higher priced homes were moving a little bit faster than this lower end market, but it was a negative hit for us. So we did fewer sales in 2025 than we did compared to 2024, albeit slight, 4%. Although new homes still did well, y'all, they're doing great. They've continued to do great through the decline of the market. So the reason for that is new home sales are a big entity, right? They're not just a single person selling their home. They are a big entity. This enables them to offer huge closing cost incentives. I would say $25,000 towards closing costs I saw on average. They also include other incentives for the property, appliances, brand new appliances, blinds for the home, etc. And they remained competitive with their pricing in line with resale homes. So their profit margin is lower for sure. However, they are still continuing to do better year over year number of sales than resale homes. They're actually up 22% in their number of sales in 2025 compared to 2024. Inventory hit a peak of 6 months of inventory in 2025. That fell to 4.2 months by December. But a lot of those withdrawn and expired listings, we do expect to see come back on the market in 2026, along with new homes that are wanting to sell, as in new listings. So I would anticipate that our inventory of available homes is going to get over 6 months this spring. Our interest rate in January of 2025 was 7.25%. It was really kind of the peak of our interest rates that we've seen recently. We are currently sitting right at 6%. So this alone is great news for our market and for our buyers, and even for our sellers. It makes homes more affordable monthly for our buyers, and that opens up options for them, and it brings more buyers into the market. So just that interest rate reduction may be an indicator of a lot better sales this year. That and the hike of that December 2025, which was very interesting to see, may be an indicator of better market this year. We have lost a number of appreciation year over year for the last 3 years, and on average that's 3% of our appreciated value on our properties. So if you add that up, 2023, 2024, 2025, we have lost about 9% of our equity in our homes since the hike of 2022. Now, properties went up 50%, 60%, 70% in that hike. So sellers that have owned prior to 2020, y'all are fine. You're doing fine, right? You are holding on to a lot of that appreciation. What doesn't serve you in this market is overpricing and seeing if you can get those values from the hike. A lot of sellers have been trying to do that over the last few years, and it has not been faring well for them. A lot of withdrawn, a lot of expired listings, a lot of listings with long days on market. Our days on market now is up to 88 days on average for the whole city of Austin. Definitely talk to your realtor about your little area. But 90 days, and that's just kind of been going up a little bit and up a little bit over the last few years. But it's, we feel like this market may be the year, this 2026 year, where we really truly flatline. We're not losing appreciation, and we're really starting to stabilize. I'd love to see this year that we actually gain a little bit of appreciation, even if it's 1-2%. It'll show a change in the direction that we've been going. And I think that the table is set for that. With lower interest rates, hopefully sellers being more reasonable with their prices out of the gate to have better results. When you overprice as a seller in the beginning, your first 6 weeks on market, that's when everybody's looking at you. If you do not reduce to a reasonable price within that timeline, then you are chasing. You are chasing the market down to try to get attention, because attention's not on you when there's a lot of inventory to choose from. If you're not the new, fresh thing, we have to put extra effort extra price reductions into getting people to pay attention to you. So it really is in sellers' best interest to come out, listen to your realtor, really discuss that value, do what you can to improve the property, bring up the value to where you need it to be, but don't price high in this market. There's just too much to choose from. Buyers in this market, with lower interest rates, more buyers come out. So we may see more buyer competition enter this market if interest rates remain low, around that 6%. And really what everybody's looking for is a 5 in front of it, right? We expect a lot more buyers to come out if we have interest rates in the 5%, even the high 5%. Let's see, what else? January looked like an actually good month as well for sales. We were surprised by that. We had quite a few properties go under contract. This early spring market of 2026 feels kind of exciting. There are a lot of buyers looking at properties, and there's quite a few going under contract. So this is kind of the pre-market up till I'd say mid-March is early spring, that where buyers are being able to shop without a lot of competition. Sellers that are on the market are probably a little tired. They've been through that 2025 market. And I don't know, some great stuff has kind of happened. It does pay off to shop in the off-market times. So if you're a buyer and you're ready to buy, then I would suggest that you get started really quickly and hopefully put something under contract by mid-March. I do expect more buyers to come out this year than previously if our interest rates stay low. Hopefully sellers are going to be more reasonable this year. It won't feel like such a tug of war. Real estate's great because you have a lot of options on what you want to do with it. If you can't sell at the price you want to sell, you can rent it. In some properties, you can short-term rent it. And that's a great thing about real estate. You can also improve it and improve your value. Of course, you're spending money to make money. So the sooner you do those improvements and actually get to enjoy them, they will be of a higher value to you. And I think that's about it, y'all, for our 2025 recap and looking forward to 2026. It's not a bad market to sell in. It's not a bad market to buy in. It's a stable market. It's a safer market. There were some of my clients who bought that mid-2022 where prices were still skyrocketing up, but that's not the case for most people. Most people have been in their property prior to 2022 and they can still sell at a profit. So if you're thinking about doing anything real estate wise, please reach out to me. I love to talk about this stuff. I do this every day, and I'd be happy to talk to you about your situation and run a plan with you that may work for your situation. Real estate's hyper local to your neighborhood. There's certain neighborhoods that just fly off the shelves. There's certain neighborhoods that are more difficult. So definitely talk to a real estate professional. And if y'all need any help in 2026, I hope you'll reach out to me.